For every array that we have inside our application, we can create a for statement to create a loop and go through each one of the items inside our array. However, the array also provides the method forEach that we can use to do the exactly same thing, just in a different approach. Let's make an example. So this is what we have seen before. I have an array of fruits, I could push new elements, and then I can create this for statement where I start from index 0, it goes up to the length of my array, and then I interact each one of those. From here, I can get the fruit itself just using fruit of index I, which I can use inside my application. As you can see, we are just logging from this line 11 right here. We are just logging each one of the fruits that we get. Another way to do the same thing would be using the forEach method from the fruits array. So if I do fruits.forEach, I can give a function to execute the loop. And then I just need to create this function to receive the fruit itself and do whatever I need. So the forEach from my array will automatically receive a function as a callback. That function, the forEach method, will automatically send to that function each one of the items as an argument. Therefore, whenever I create that function, I'm going to create a variable, a parameter here that will receive that argument. The name of this parameter doesn't matter. However, whenever we are creating names for our arrays, it is advisable that we use whatever we are storing in the plural. So if I'm storing fruits, I'm going to call my array fruits. And then, whenever I create this callback function, the best approach would be to call that one fruit on the singular because it is going to be sending each one of those. I could call item, I could call whatever I want, but this is the way that is recommended just so we know that we are receiving each one of the fruits. If I save, you can see that we have exactly the same result. Now we are getting this from line 17. So I could do this like this using the for statement or using the forEach. Let's get rid of this for statement and let's focus here on the way we are doing this forEach. In this case, I am creating this function, write fruit, only for writing the elements using this forEach. As we have seen, I can declare a function like this, or I could use a function expression, or I could use an arrow function. If it was a function expression, I could just create something that would be anonymous, and then I could create a variable, write fruit, and then assign this function expression to that one. If I save, you can see that we have an error here, just because, as I mentioned before, we needed to be careful that I need to use that one just after I create that. So if I'm creating here, I needed to move this line after here, and that would work. So we can use each approach. I just needed to be careful with this assignment. However, since this function is being used only on this scenario and never more, then there is a better way for me to do that. Instead of creating this anonymous function and assigning this to a variable, I could go ahead and get this entire anonymous function and include directly here inside my forEach statement. Let me break this into multiple lines. I can get rid of that. So that would look like this. I have my forEach where I open here. Inside here I create my function expression where I don't even need to assign a name or anything. So it's going to be an anonymous function which is going to be receiving the item itself and I would be printing. If I save, you can see it still works on the same way. I could write everything into one single long line. I don't need to break into multiple lines as I did, and that would still work. However, it is better for us to start breaking these into multiple lines to have a better view of everything. Some developers will prefer to break lines inside here. So I would have my forEach, and then I have the function declaration, and then I just have whatever I need to execute here. Or, as I showed you, I could break this line even before, so it's up to you. Whatever works best for you, what visually is better for you, you can choose for working with this. Besides using function expression, we also can use arrow functions. Remember, arrow functions can also be used for anonymous function. In this case, I could replace here. Instead of using the keyword function, I just start using the parentheses, and then I use the arrow sign for creating the function. If I save, you can see that the result is still the same. Again, if I just have one parameter, I could even omit these parentheses. Everything would still work as intended. But it's better for us to use parentheses all the time, just so it is explicit that we have a parameter there. So for each, this is another way for us to create loops through an array and get each one of the elements from that array.